Welcome to Study Session 5, Information Users Profile. Introduction. Having examined the previous sessions, now is the time to consider the different categories of individuals that make use of this information. Information Users Profile will reveal these individuals. The session will begin with the definition of an information user, after which different categories will be discussed. Learning outcomes. At the end of this study session, you should be able to discuss who an information user is, highlight the different categories of information users, differentiate between an information seeker and an information user. Information Users Profile. Terms like patrons, clients, member, clientele, customer, and the likes readily come to mind. It is important to express that almost everyone, and indeed everyone at one time or another, makes use of information. This makes everybody an information user. However, an information user should not be confused with an information seeker. Huegbu 2001 noted that an information seeker may be somebody who goes about asking or looking for information or hearing news without putting it to use. An individual who is in dire need of a job, who goes on the internet every day to check for job adverts, and still who has not yet decided whether to apply or not, is just an information seeker. Drivers who are trained on how to drive with caution on the road in order to avoid accidents and still drive recklessly are not information users. Fresh male students in high institutions of learning who during orientation exercise took their time to listen to different anti-cultism lectures only to end up engaging in cultism activities on campus themselves are only information seekers, not its users. You may ask, who then is an information user? A fresh student that seeks information about the time of his lecture and who makes it a point of duty to always come before the classes start is an information user. For someone to be described as an information user, the meaning is that the information must be used for the purpose in which it was sought in the first place. According to Huegbu, information users can be categorized in a number of ways: profession and work environment, gender, education, institution, location, language. Information user from the perspective of profession and work environment. This suggests that information users can be determined based on the profession and the work environment. Individuals in the medical profession like doctors, pharmacists, and nurses will seek and use information relating to their profession. Their information use will be determined by medical condition of patients, case history, illness type, and financial capacity. Similarly, individuals that work in a factory setting will be concerned about safety of their work environment, salaries and wages, factory equipment, and the likes. All this will determine the kind of information that they seek, how to obtain such information, and eventually how the information will be put to use. Information user from the perspective of education. Information users can be categorized as literate, semi-literate, neoliterate, or illiterate based on their level of education. The information that an educated person will seek and use will definitely be different from the one an illiterate will seek and use. While an educated person in the academia may be concerned with how to seek financial grants to carry out a research, an illiterate may tend to seek for how to join the daily contribution of local credit and thrift society. Additionally, an educated person will be concerned about the affairs of government, monitoring events, and contributing to political debates. The business of the illiterate may be how to demand for stipend from politicians, The business of how the people's money is spent is not his concern. This set of individuals will no doubt seek and use information differently. Information user from the perspective of gender. Information users can also be categorized along the lines of gender. For example, the information that a young girl will seek at puberty will quite be different from what a young boy of the same age will seek. A young girl, just like a young boy at that stage of life, will no doubt experience changes in the body. The girl may start to do menstruation, while the boy may at times experience occasional emission. The young girl will no doubt seek and use information that will help her during her menstrual cycle, while the boy will also seek and use information pertaining to the changes that his body is undergoing. This differentiates them as information users. Information user from the perspective of information need. Individuals seek and use information based on the need for that information. A doctor who wants to establish a poultry farm will no doubt seek and use information about how to establish and maintain the poultry. An illiterate farmer in the village who wants to travel to a city he has never been before to liaise with an industry who wishes to use his products from the farm will definitely seek information about how to get to the city from his location and how he would locate the industry in the city. This emphasizes the point raised by Alegbeleye 1989, who did a critique on studies on users' information needs and came to the conclusion that information needs are situational, that is, occupation, gender, and the likes do not actually determine the information needs of individual. Information user from the perspective of institution. Individuals may become information users based on the institution in which they belong. For example, students contribute a user group. Students seek and use information about how to register for courses, how to secure accommodations, when to attend classes, how to study, when to study, where to study, what to study, when examinations will come up, how to excel in examinations, when to check their results, and the likes. In addition, workers in federal government establishments may seek and use information about biometric data capture exercise, government circulars and directives, salary issues, contributory pension matters, and the likes. This is the effect of institutional factors on people. Information user from the perspective of language. Information users can also be categorized based on language. Individuals who speak a particular language form a user group. It is not unusual to see Hausas in a city like Ibadan turned to the radio stations that broadcast in their native language. These individuals at times seek and use information on where they can settle within the city, display their wares, and where certain material cultural products can be acquired. In like manner, the Yorubas who are in the north are also required and use information on where to eat local Yoruba delicacies, where Yoruba meetings are held, and the likes. Categories of information users. The following are set of categories of information users. INO 2004 further explains information users as children. This essentially are small children who are in pre-primary schools. As young as they are, they could be considered as information users. They learn the alphabet and numbers at that young age. It is amazing that most of them grasp this fast and they start to recite the alphabet 1, 2, 3 subconsciously. At this early age, these individuals play with toys, relics, objects, drawings, and the likes. Pupils. These are children and young adults in primary and secondary schools. Some of them are already teenagers and they seek and use information pertaining to their teenage experiences. This group of information users also has the need to seek information about their educational activities. Students. This refers to those who are studying in institutions of higher learning, like colleges of education, polytechnics, and universities. These individuals engage in serious academic work and therefore seek and use information retrieved from different sources like the library and the internet to support their learning and research. Adults. These are individuals who already have commitments and responsibilities. Some of them may be married but still in active service as regards employment, while some may be retirees. These individuals form an information user group that are concerned with how to guarantee livelihood for themselves and members of their families. Some of the seniors visit the public library to read daily newspapers to keep themselves abreast of the happenings in the country. Professionals. These are highly trained and educated men and women who have needed skills and expertise in specific fields. Most professionals are highly literate individuals, and they make use of different information media to access information that will be of great need to them. Researchers and lecturers. These are individuals with high academic qualifications who render their services in higher institutions like polytechnics and universities by virtue of their enlightenment. They also consult different sources of information to meet their information need. Policymakers and planners. These are government and private workers who work in ministries, departments, and agencies. They are the technocrats that make public policies. They occupy positions such as ministers, permanent secretaries, heads of parastatals, chief executive of companies, and so on. All these individuals are information users. Artisans, urban and rural based. These individuals are the drivers of the local economy. They are in charge of small and medium-scale agencies which thrive on vocational skills. For example, carpenters, barbers, plumbers, electricians, mechanics, welders, tailors, and so on. Some of them are not educated. Also, due to the unemployment situation in the country, many graduates also engage in these activities due to the fact that these individuals have their various needs which they would like to address. They are also information users. Rural dwellers. Nigerian statistics say close to 70% live in the rural areas. The same is also true for so many other African countries. Most rural dwellers are farmers, even though some engage in activities as dictated by their environment, like fishing and the likes. Most rural areas lack basic social amenities that will make life more meaningful and enjoyable. No wonder most youths leave the rural area for the cities in search for greener pastures, though some who retire from active service return to the villages. This highlights the fact that literate individuals are also available in the rural areas. Rural dwellers need and use information for different purposes. Individuals with disabilities. These include individuals with hearing, visual, and physical disabilities. According to Oyindoyin 2013, these individuals face 1. Natural exclusion. By the virtue of their disabilities, these individuals have problems with mobility and dexterity and cannot move freely as others, and equally encounter difficulties in performing manual tasks. Artificial exclusion. This refers to the way and manner in which individuals in the society treat these individuals. Often at occasions and gatherings, there are no places strictly reserved for them for easy accessibility. The public buildings are constructed without ramps. Instead, the individuals, especially those with physical disabilities, will be subjected to the rigors of climbing the stairs. Even in some higher institutions, seats are suitably only for right-handed persons, thereby automatically excluding those who are left-handed. These individuals, who are also our family members, should therefore not be treated like second-class citizens. All hands must be on desk to ensure that the already excluded are included. This also relates to the fact that information resources that will assist them to use information as users should be provided. Resources like braille books, books read on tapes or compact disc, Kurzweil reading machine, large print book, character recognition devices, finger alphabet, videotapes and telephones should be readily available to them, either in the library and other information centers. Madu 2000. It should be noted that the list given here may not be exhaustive, as all individuals with different callings, orientation, role, duties and functions are all information users. Summary for Study Session 5. This session has discussed who an information user is. An information user is an individual who actively seeks information, receives the information, and makes use of the information for problem solving and decision making. A distinction was also made between a seeker and a user of information. The different categories of information users, from the perspective of profession and work, education, gender, information need, institution and language were explained. A further breakdown of information users was also made. End of Study Session 5. Thanks for listening.